What's going on, fellow YouTubers? This is 1M2. So it's been about 2 weeks since I started the installation of the airbags in the Toyota Chaser, and for the most part I'm pretty much done with everything airbag wise. What I'm not showing you in the video is the tank, compressor, and the manifold installation, but if you watch the first video I explained everything on there, how things need to be connected. So if you haven't watched that and you're trying to use this as a tutorial, go back and watch that video and you'll understand how to do the installation of that stuff. But on this video I'm showing you how I installed the airbags onto the car and how I took out the coilovers. There was a couple of mishaps and you're gonna see that in the video or whatever. I broke 2 studs from one of the bags, one of the mounting top studs, and I was able to replace them with some from Ace. And the other mishap is when I was doing the passenger rear side, the car started to shift on me, and basically I had to put the camera down and really get my head out of my you-know-what and focus on the installation. It's not that I was distracted too much, it's just that I wasn't paying enough attention, and things could have gone a lot worse for me, but you know, it is what it is. It took me about 8 or 9 days just to install all of that. The stuff in the trunk, like the compressor, manifold, tank, is not how I want it to be 100% yet. It's actually only about 5% how I want it to be, but I had to get some air in here and get that finished up. What happened was, after that, was the last night I went inside and my back just gave out. So it's been 2 weeks now since I've done this, and basically I've just been resting non-stop. I haven't done anything but rest. So let's talk real quick about the airbags. The airbags themselves, I feel they're decent quality, to be honest. There's things in these airbags in the kit that I like. For example, the connectors for the airlines, you screw them onto the airbag or the braided line, and they have a nipple that you shove the airline into there, and then it has a cap that goes over that. And I believe that is a more secure method than the push to connect method. I really don't like the push to connect. I need to check the front airbags, or actually possibly the manifold for the 2 front lines. there's a leak, so it's dropping every day and a half or so. The back ones are solid, they haven't been going down. Another thing about the kit that I want to comment on is, you know, I've been contacting support here and there, and they've been really great responding either same day or very next day. The only thing is I haven't gotten a response in about 2.5-3 days. Maybe they're tired of messaging me. Sorry guys, but it is what it is. I'm missing the app, or I went on the Play Store to try to look for the Android app to connect to the setup, but there is no Android app in the Play Store. They have one on iPhone, so iPhone users, no problem downloading the app or whatever. But I reached out to them. The response that I got was, can you install WhatsApp? I'm assuming so they can send me the app link via WhatsApp, and it's not available in the Play Store, which is a real bugger to me. I hope they fix that soon, because I'm very picky about what apps I download, especially if it's not on the Play Store. But anyways, I mean, it's just for the airbags to be able to remotely rise and air out. It's not a huge deal. The controller itself works decent. When I first turned it on, everything was in like Chinese or Japanese or some other language, so I had to reach out to them and have them send me some instructions on how to change that. I don't remember seeing any instructions in the kit, but like I said, if you watch my video, you're gonna figure out how to do the installation for the most part. And then they did email me. I'm gonna add a screenshot of that. They did email me the instructions and stuff of how to change the language and do a couple of other things. When it comes to the controller, if I compare that to Airlift's controller is, as far as software, their software is better. As far as the feel of the controller, I kind of like this one much better than the Airlift one, if I'm being honest. It works, you know, for its purpose. It works. It airs up and down, whatever. You can do one side at a time. You can do both front at the same time, both back at the same time, or the, you know, there's stuff you can do. settings wise, it's really funky. I still need to mess around with it and figure it out. There's, you know, it's different. I gotta learn how to work that controller. Anyways, I really hope they update the software on the controller. I think it needs some work, but again, I think I'm just being picky when it comes to that. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I know the car's filthy right now. It's really, really dusty. It's been sitting here for 2.5, 3 weeks almost. So the car is really filthy, okay? I'll wash it up. I'll do a demo of the car being aired out and whatnot later on. I did have a mishap. So before I parked the car here, and the reason it hasn't moved is because you're gonna see the driver's side front wheel tire blew out or whatever, and I have the spare on there right now, and it has giant ass tire on there. Plus it's not even the same size wheel. It's the OEM wheel. And I'm not gonna drive the car around like that because you're just gonna eat up the tires even more. So the tire that was in the front on the R32 wheel, it was completely bald on one side, and Discount Tire will not repair that and should not repair that because that is a fucking hazard for you people that bitch and complain about, oh, they won't fix my tire. It's a fucking hazard. People get sued when shit happens and you try and repair because you tried to repair a tire that shouldn't have been repaired. So I'm just waiting until I can either replace the tires. Right now I'm very strapped for cash. I can't afford a fucking pair of tires because this one over here is wearing uneven as well, and I need to get an alignment. I need to do a lot of shit, but I'm taking my time. It is what it is. But if somebody wants to help me out, there's a link on this description where you can help me out. If you want to sponsor me some wheels and tires, hey, please, I'm all ears. I'm gonna add a little bit of voiceover every now and then. So this bolt that I'm pointing to right now, there's one on the left side as well. You're gonna take those two out, but before you do those two, you need to take the lower bolt out first. That one right there. Take that bolt out first, and then you can move to the other two that I was pointing at, and then the top three, which are above in the engine bay. I took out was this one and the screw down here in order to take this off. So when you're taking this bolt out that's holding this in there, you have to loosen up the coilover or whatever you have there, strut, and take all three of the nuts out, and then the thing will drop a little bit, and so you can continue to unscrew these long ass bolts that are in here. So one goes right there like that, the other one goes right there like that, sorry, this and that. And then once those two bolts are out, this thing just drops back and you can unscrew the rest of the nuts up top if you haven't already. And again, down here is where the other end of the strut was being held down. So something you really got to pay attention to once you have this mounted in there is these collars. These need to be locked in really tight, same on top and bottom, and you use this key to do that. Gotta lock those in good, otherwise it will move on you eventually. Nope. Before I put this in there, I gotta connect this. For the Toyota Chaser, only the front airbags have braided steel lines. So number 11, you screwed in right there. I can show this, but before I screwed that braided steel line in, I did use the fast tape on it. Alrighty. One more turn. Good. So after installing 4 of these airbags on the Chaser, the first thing I would do is put that control arm back and slip in those bolts and start to tighten it up. Then you want to do the 3 nuts on the top of the airbag. And then the last thing you should do is the bolt on the bottom. Remember, you want to use the jack to lift it up. And grab one of these. So I had found some washers, and I went later on to buy some from Ace Hardware because these were just really crappy. This is going to be tough because of the airbags. Let's see if I can get this bolt in without having to take down the airbag. Okay, so I can't get this in there easily without probably dropping this down. Ay vey. And I just did that. So here's where we're at. Yesterday, this stud from right there snapped in half while I was tightening it. That one right there. I didn't overdo it. Hell, it wasn't even all the way in when it snapped. See, it's, well, right there you can't tell because I did re-tighten it to try and get it to go tighter and then looser, tight again. It wasn't cross-threaded, so I don't know what the hell happened, but I had to replace it. Went to Ace and I found this, same length, but this is a hex. And it's a M8 1.25 pitch, I believe. Anyways, requires a 13, and I'm gonna screw it in there. So, here we go. I just wanted to point out something real quick. I believe these studs, two of them snapped, and after speaking with AirDemand, it was probably because I didn't lift this high enough. I did lift it with jack, but I guess it wasn't lifted high enough, so there was only maybe a quarter an inch or so, or half inch of the stud sticking out from the top. So when I started tightening it, it's basically you're trying to lift all of this. And I guess those studs, they just can't handle that. Right now I'm gonna run the line from here all the way to the back. That's where we're at. So I got my line cut. You really need one of these guys because you want the cuts on the line straight. So basically I put this right on top of the line and I stretched it out all the way to the back, to about right here, back of the car. And now I'm taking this apart so I can find a place to run the line through. Okay, so I have the line ran. It's not buckled up yet or tightened or anything, but this is gonna go over here somewhere, and I'm gonna run in all along under here. Show you guys where I took it out. Okay. There was a grommet right here. I'll put some silicone after I have it tied down and stuff, but there was none over here, so I used that one over there. Hopefully it's not going to be a problem. If it is, I just run it again, no big deal. And then passed it up in through here. I didn't want to do it through there because there's some sharp little edges. And here it is right here. This is like you push it into a little nipple, and then this thing goes up on there and tightens it up, which is, to me, I'm hoping this works better than the push to lock. I really don't know if it's going to, but I hope it does work better than the push to lock. I think I got everything buttoned up the way I want it. There's some slack for the turns there. That's all zip tied. Look closely, I did a loop in a loop. Anyways, made a couple of extra holes and she's good to go. I'll have to do something for this line that's kind of just dangling a little bit, but not now. Here's the back. The back looks like it's going to be pretty simple because up there's only 3 studs, and you loosen them up from the inside of the chaser right on top behind the back seat, if that makes any sense. I'll show it in a minute. But over here there's also only one bolt, a nut you got to take off. This is how it's being held right now. Yes, I know it's ghetto, but you do what you do with what you got. Probably why it's taking me so long, that and my health. Man, this thing looks pretty rusted. Anyways, I'm using a 3/4 inch socket on this side for the shock, and then on this side I'm using a 19mm wrench so that the nut doesn't move, and then I'm using the wheel well as leverage. I got this long ass bolt out. You can see how worn out the bushings are. Pretty jacked up. I used the OEM jack to raise the car so I can get this bolt out, because it wouldn't come out without doing that. Right here is the so this is the back seat of the car, and right behind the back padding is where you get to the coilovers. On this car, they're aftermarket, so they're pretty bad. And anyways, this uses a number 12mm. All right, I'm gonna continue. Just wanted to show the bushing. Thing is fucked. 8K rear springs. Interesting. Yeah, someone was drifting the shit out of this. I wanted to explain how I got that coilover out. Since I had the bolts out from up top in there and the one down here, however this thing was still too high, and you can see I have the jack high enough so that this should drop as much as possible, but it still wouldn't drop all the way. So what I did is I put this up here and I used it as leverage, and with both my hands I pulled up like this and pushed this down with my forearm, and I was able to get it out like that. So I might have to do the same thing to get the airbag in there as well. I got my fitting in here. I don't know if I had shown that on the other airbag for the front. But I'm using this fast tape. I don't want to line it there. So yeah, it's gonna be the same thing with this one. It's just the way it is. Always better if you have somebody helping you, but when you don't, you do what you have to. This is gonna be tricky. Okay, I got two of the, there you go. All three studs are in. One of them sticking out halfway, but let's try it now. All right, it worked. If you don't have a pair of these, I suggest you buy a pair. I just realized I forgot to take off the nuts from the studs. What I'm gonna have to do is reach in the inside of the car and try to put this fucking nut. Alright, working alone sucks. I was able to get two nuts in. So I don't recommend doing these kinds of jobs alone, but when you want to do it yourself but you need some help, you can't really ask for help, because you have to stop a lot and go to the bathroom or go take a break because your back is killing you, which it's killing me right now. Does anybody know where I can get these black spacers, or I don't know what they're called, but the reason I'm asking is the front needs that desperately, because the front was a little bit softer. This is a little bit harder, and with these like washer type deals, big ass washer maybe you can call it, I don't know, it tries to even the stress out on the body of the car, which is perfect. I have another jack right here. I put it under the rotor. so I can get this thing lined up. Basically, I'm gonna use this jack to lift it up and slide the bolt in. Try and do it so that you guys can see this shit. I had to jack it up just a little bit more because you can see the bolt poking right there, and it was uneven, so I lifted it up just a little bit more, and it should start going in now. There it is. Now I just need to tighten it with the tools, and we're good. I'm glad I listened to the man that raised me. Like, he showed us a lot of stuff with cars, and so I'm timid to get into anything with motors, like internals. I don't like doing any of that, but when it comes to stuff like this, I don't mind jumping in and getting my hands dirty. I mean, this is the second time I install airbags. The Mustang was a lot more difficult than this. I mean, for one, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but this seems to be going a little bit smoother. It took me like a full week or two to do the airbags on the Mustang. Something like that. Anyways, all right, I got the bolt in. Tighten down on the other side. All right, so the fitting, I ended up facing it this way because over here is the exhaust, and we all know how hot exhaust gets. And the lines are nylon, so that shit heats up and it's gonna eat it up. So I'm gonna try going this way. Actually, I'm gonna try and go exactly where I put the other one, which is right there. So that's where we're at. Just a reminder that when you're tightening these, they have to be tightened evenly, okay? And you also have to come over here and you need to raise it a little bit so the stress is not on all the studs until they're all plugged all the way in and secure. So that's what I'm doing. I almost forgot to mention that you need to tighten this one, okay? Do not forget to tighten it. You tighten that fucker as much as you can. This one, do not touch. Do not touch the top one. I was told by AirDemand that if you mess with this one, you are going to have leaks, so don't touch it. I don't have enough mesh loom to put on this one, so for now, you know, I'm just putting it on the way it is, but I'll get some later. I have enough of the mesh loom, or whatever the hell it's called, for the front left one, and since that one is a lot longer, I'm saving it for that. But the two back pieces, for now, they're not going to have any mesh loom, whatever. So I wanted to show you guys what I'm doing with these zip ties. I'm zip tying it, and I leave this loop here open. I don't cut it off. Then I come over here, put another one, and I grab that loop there. I'm trying to do this one handed, sorry. I can't do it with one hand, but basically this is what I'm doing. So this thing, this zip tie is not super tight. I don't know, I just like it better this way. I didn't redo this, so I took off the cap, got to put it back in on this side. Number 12. All right, so I got to figure out how to leave some slack here. I got to loosen these. So I'm not going to tighten this one any more than that, and this one I'm going to take off, cut it off, and do it again, because there has to be some flexibility so that when it's compressed and it goes up. Alright, so there's the airbag all the way compressed. Plenty of slack and movement here. Now I'm gonna lower it so y'all can see. Put it too tight with freaking two hands. There you go. That's all the way up. And you play. Yep. And let's lower it again. Perfect. Front side is done. Back passenger side is done as well. Well, when I say front side, I mean just the driver's side. Passenger side, front and back are not done. So I just wanted to point out to some of you guys who may have noticed, I have these bricks underneath the car. Why does he have those bricks under the car? So basically right now the airbags, they're not hooked up to anything on the other side where the manifold would be. But the reason I did this with the bricks is because if the car is lowered on the ground and there is something wrong with the fitting, like there's a huge leak or something somewhere, either in the front, back, and the car is dropped all the way to the bottom, there is no way for me to get a jack underneath there if the car is going to be lowered all the way. So in other words, if I plug the manifold, I plug the tank, I plug the compressor, and I air up, however one side is not going up, or two sides, or maybe the whole fucking thing is not going up, and then I got to start troubleshooting if I have a leak on the fitting here, other sides, and I won't be able to do that if I can't get those tires off and wheels. So I hope that makes sense why I did that. Right now, the way it sits on top of the bricks, I can go underneath the car with either of my jacks. I have 3 jacks, the one from the car, the black one, and then the low jack right there. Those will fit underneath right there. But if these weren't here, none of those fucking jacks are gonna fit if I can't air the car up. But Jesus Christ, look how much the back is tucked. The front is too, but you can't tell because of this shitty OEM wheel and big ass tire. Which brings me to my next point. Somebody, please, hook me up with some nice ass wheels and tires to go with this shit. I had to try. About to install the other 2 airbags on the passenger side for the Chaser. Beautiful day, so let's get this done if we can do it in one day. It's already been a week. What? What about my socks? I don't want to get bit by mosquitoes. Mind your business. It's not a breaker bar, but it's all I have. Pretty damn cheap on eBay. I don't care if it gets fucked up. Right, what we're going to take off is this right here, the 3 nuts from the top that are up here, and then we're going to take off this one right here. That is all we have to take off. 17 millimeter and another 17 millimeter. Alright, so I got my 17 right there and the other 17 on this side. I'm gonna grab my other jack and put it, move these out of the way and put the jack under here so I can get that bolt out easier, and I don't want all the stress on those studs. I might have gone too high up. Alright, now I'm going to do the top ones. For the top ones, 12 millimeter. We got this one off here. I was holding this. Now I'm getting the igniter one. And I'll have to take this off so I can take off the igniter. I believe that is a 10. Yep. And I can get to these. This one 1/2 inch ended up working. $14 millimeter to get this one and this one out. I can't get this out because there's just too much pressure, but once I take this off I'll be able to wiggle it out. These are almost out. Some long ass bolt. No damage on the bolt. Good. Okay, that's out. You see it dropped. Now I gotta come back up here and take these back off again. Okay, there's one. This side is turning out to be a lot more difficult than the driver's side for some reason. That's hard to see, I know. But I cannot hold the camera and do this at the same time. Here's the strut or airbag, sorry, for strut airbag, whatever, for the front. Remember to take these off first this time. I'm gonna prepare this. I'll take off my gloves for this because my hands are numb, so it's hard for me to touch or handle this. Number 11 millimeter. 11. Alright, so on the other front strut, I loosened this up. Okay, this is loose now. I'm gonna drop it down. So what I did, so that I know how much to drop it, to raise it, because I don't want it to be scraping the fucking floor when I'm driving, obviously. In Arizona, we got shit roads. Anybody who thinks otherwise is fucking full of shit or just doesn't drive around enough. What I did was I took this 18 millimeter on the other one, on the other side, and once I was able to fit it in between, still not in between there, then I stopped opening it up. Here we go. Alright, so what I did for the front over there, I put these big washers, and the reason is because this is just a little bit softer than I would like it to be, so I don't want to take any chances. That's why I did that. That's why I was asking about the back washer, big ass black ones. Like, where can I buy some of those so I could use it here on the front? Because that's exactly what this needs. Okay, now I'm going to tighten these up without... I tighten these up first before I do this one. Because when I do this one, I'm going to use this to pick it up so it's not too much pressure while I'm doing it. Too much weight. Pressure. I keep saying pressure. This is important, guys. That before you put the bottom one on, you have to do these on top first. And you have to do it evenly because you don't want too much pressure on one side than the other. Then the stud snaps, like two of them snapped over there for me. I'm starting to raise this up, and you can see that hole is going to line up eventually. See that? Magic. Bam. Boom. Alright, so this, I'm gonna twist it just right there and leave it like this at an angle like that. I gotta tighten these up. These aren't screwed in all the way. I gotta tighten up these, tighten up these collar rings, whatever they're called, collars. Ow. And then I gotta tighten up the bolt that I just put in. This fucker's gotta be tight because this fucker's gonna move on you if they're not tight enough. I'll lift this up some more. Alright, that's pretty fucking tight. Now just the top. Okay, everything's buttoned up. These are tightened up. These are tightened up. This one right there is tightened up. And those three. So now I can lower this right now safely. But first I want to put the fitting on here and figure out how I'm going to tie it up. So I put my tape. You can see the tape right there. and that's done. It's pretty damn tight. Now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna run all the nylon. Alright, so I uncoiled some of that. I'm gonna pull it over here, and I'm gonna need more than this. It stops right here at the back of the car, but I need a little more slack. For this one in the front, I'm not putting the zip tie like I did for the driver's side rear. I'm doing it like this. I need to be able to turn a lot. This motherfucking thing has some crazy ass turning radius because of the D-Max arms and everything. So basically I'm just going with the flow here. To be honest, what I'm gonna do is try this out. If I hear too much when I'm turning, once I have the wheels on and it's aired up or whatever, then I can check all this and I can adjust however I need to. Not a big deal. I always have enough zip ties too. You should always have enough zip ties. If you ain't heard, zip ties can save lives. Shit, this was a bitch. Fuck. Alright. Get him with a 17. Oh, this one's a 12 now. I want to put this zip tie here in between so the whole thing doesn't shift more this way. We want enough wiggle room over here for this thing to function the way it's supposed to. And what I'm going to do is raise this all the way up. Oh, actually it's all the way up as high as it can go already. Well, I'm going to drop it then as low as it can go and probably raise it again a couple times just so I can see the movement here. And now that we got all that sorted out, we're going to start to go down that way. Since this side is open, normally I do this earlier, I just forgot. So I get a piece of tape, put another smaller piece of tape in the middle of that piece of tape on the sticky side, then I wrap it up in here, center it, and then I wrap it up. The reason you want to do this is I'm fishing this all the way to the other side, and I don't want it to pick up crap on the way over there because I'm fishing it. Now that I got those pretty much done, I'm gonna put the tire back on, or the wheel and tire back on. I gotta put this underneath it, same like I did over there, and then move on to the back. Well, something broke again. And it's right fucking in there. My own fault. Cut the grommet. I already pushed this through just a minute ago. I had to make this big enough so that I can push the other one through. It looks like this is not going to be big enough, so I got to make it bigger. Alright, I think it's big enough. If not, I'll just take it off and make it bigger. Not a big deal. Alright, that's where it's coming through, just like on the other side, which you can't see right now. This motherfucker is moving. Holy shit. Had to make the awning shorter because that motherfucker is going to snap on me. Look how high that shit's going. which means I lose a lot of shade over there. Fuck. Alright, nothing I can do about the awning. I'll show you how I pull that shit through. So it's coming right through there. Okay. On this side, comes in here, goes all the way up, and right in there. I had to take this front line back out so I could run this up above this one, not below it. So now it's done. Now I'm gonna do the rear airbag. This one's gonna be easy as well. Well, actually, I'm not gonna lie. That front passenger side was a huge pain in the ass. It's just been the hardest one thus far. The front driver's side was, it was my first one doing on this car, so you know, you always learning about the car, the way stuff is built or whatever. But the one over there on the driver's side rear was pretty damn easy, and I'm hoping this is going to be easy too. All we got to do is remove this nut, bolt, and these three up here, and then this thing I have to push it down as much as possible so that this thing will pop out. And that's the biggest pain in the butt on this. Other than that, it's pretty easy. I don't remember this one being a 19 millimeter. I don't know if I can get this one in there, but I gotta try. So I'm using the wrench on the right to keep the bolt from moving while I'm trying to loosen it from this side.
Want me to ask if you're gonna die alone or are you dead?
Back passenger side is finally done. I had to put the camera down. You saw the shit started fucking moving on me. I'll be installing all this shit now. So I started putting the tank compressor together. Mounted this up here. I gotta fix that right there. But she's coming along. One thing that you don't know about this whole installation, I actually did mention it once in the video or twice maybe, I don't know. I had to stop a lot in between. So a normal, healthy person, this shit can be done in one fucking day easily, man. The bags were very easy to install when I compared to the Mustang. It was 100 times easier than on the Mustang. If you have the right tools, and it's even better if you have someone that can help you. But if you have the right tools, you can do this yourself in one day, as long as you're a healthy person and you have, you know, a couple of jacks or whatever. So if you're thinking about getting airbags, check these guys out, AirDemand or Air Force. They're pretty cool. There's not a lot of options for the Toyota Chaser, obviously, because we didn't have this car. It was banned from the US for 25 years. Now the 25-year law has passed. Now everybody is importing these cars. Stay tuned. I'm going to be doing another video showing me trying to build a infinite baffle in the rear deck of the Toyota Chaser with an Image Dynamics subwoofer that I purchased from woofersetc.com. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, I'm going to do another video later on with car washed and hopefully with new tires and whatnot and an alignment. So stick around. Peace.